Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
The Aussie Suns podcast. Honestly, with me on here, your ratings are going to skyrocket, so much bigger than the Chinese Suns podcast, than Canada's Suns podcast, than, those other countries. They all are great, but your ratings are going through the roof. It's really great to see.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. Have a look at the cast we've got here today. We are outnumbered, Boyd. We're outnumbered. This is supposed to be an Aussie Suns fans, and now Boyd's gone, so I'm well and truly outnumbered. Supposed to be an Aussie Suns fans podcast, but it's kind of three Americans and an Aussie. How we going, lads? Let's introduce first Espo. Espo, thanks for jumping on, mate. Love the glasses. Thanks for bringing them along too.
Oh, I'm happy to. This is a marathon. Just got off the PHNX Sun show and right into overtime with you guys, but always happy to be here.
Fantastic. And now a regular and one of the hottest free agents in Phoenix Suns podcasting today, Jake, a.k.a. Fallen Founder. How you going, buddy? Welcome back.
I'm glad to be here. I feel like I'm the Dwight Howard of Suns podcasters right now. I'm ready to sign. Until then, I'll just keep dominating and
hanging out in Taiwan or wherever he's at.
Whatever small island I need to be at, I will just crush the competition.
At least you're the Dwight Howard. Paul's the Dwight Schrute. So there's that.
Assistant to the regional manager.
The most important thing, though, Jake, since your last appearance on the Aussie Suns Fans podcast, no Fosters today.
No, actually, believe it or not, Foster's, for all the Australians who are probably laughing at me the entire time, does actually give me a headache. And that was actually the most regretful I've been drinking beer in quite a long time. So I'm sticking with a nice cold Sam Adams for the a little safer, in the middle of the week.
Probably a solid call because Foster's is disgusting and nobody in Australia has drank it since the 1880s. Now, Boyd, you're here. You're back. Leveled up the numbers at least a little bit. Welcome, mate. How are you traveling?
Oh, mate, I'm actually really, really good, considering our play of lately. I'm fucking really good, really good.
You've passed on the child.
For now, there's another one about to wake up, young Charles, and he's a pain in the fucking ass, man. But he'll most probably be in later to say hello.
Very, very, very good. And now, most importantly, we've been back and forth with these people. We've been trying everything we can to get him on. We've had Dan Duarte on. We've had Justin on. We were just missing just the gap in our Fan the Flames layout in the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. But we finally managed it this week. We got his people to agree. It cost us a fortune.
I got new people.
Oh, at Derbyshire, welcome, mate.
I fired my people. I'm out of double secret timeout. And I'm happy to finally be on this podcast that's literally spanning the globe.
Hold on. Is that code for you got a divorce?
No. My wife would loves when I do this because I'm out of her hair.
I thought you were going to say she'd love it if I got divorced. I was like, wait, what? Where's this going?
To be honest, I think the biggest key here is that Paul's still awake at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time.
8:30 is fine. It's when we don't even get on the line until 9:30 and then don't start recording till 11:30. And I've been up since 5:30.
Well, we've had our fair share of Paul slander on previous podcasts with Dan and Justin.
On every podcast. Every podcast.
You've basically got an open slather here because neither of them bothered to get on today, so you can pay them all back right here.
Well, one of them's in the chat.
Yeah.
I just say that he's just jumped into the chat. He's very excited. Guys, I've modified the layout a little bit, mainly because we're going straight after the off the back of the PHNX and Suns Gents podcast. We do spend about 45 minutes talking about the games from the week before, so I've decided to scrap that because when we get into Suns basketball and the topics of the week, we generally touch on most of the games anyway. So what we're going to do is change it up a little bit. We are going to go straight in to this week in Suns basketball.
Hello, you know me, your great friend, Donald Trump. Let me tell you about this week in Phoenix Suns basketball.
This week in Suns basketball, number one, does defense win basketball games and championships? Let's go with you, Boyd. Does defense win basketball games and championships?
In my humble opinion, which is usually pretty fucking good, yes. Yes, it does. However, the problem is that what we saw against Memphis, right, was a second-class Suns lineup who had to play at an extremely high level of intensity and just hustle, right? That sort of shit isn't maintainable, sustainable in my eyes. So I think, it can, you need it, but you also need talent in there as well, mate. Some Devin Bookers of the world, you might say.
So the reason I've asked this before I head on to you three is I honestly believe if we look over what happened in the last week, the intensity, the effort, the energy on defense against Denver and then against Memphis, in comparison to the losses, including today's game, it was chalk and cheese. The defense and energy against Memphis in particular effectively put us in the position we're in to win that game. And today, unfortunately, we saw it drop off. When that lifted just after halftime, we wiped out a 20-point deficit and drew within one. And it just goes to show how much different this team is when we're playing with that energy. Espo, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'd love to tell you if defense wins championships, but I haven't seen a Suns team that's played a complete year of defense or a Suns team that's won a championship. So I don't know. But look, this week, I think especially that Memphis game proved that heart and hustle have a lot to do with defense. It's a pride thing in a lot of cases. And against Memphis, they showed a lot of pride. In particular, those second and third string guys that had to step up because of all the injuries, then went out there and they played their ass off. It was probably my favorite win of the season just because it was enjoyable. You saw the effort, you saw the hustle. It was undeniable that those guys just wanted to win more than Memphis. And I like that. That's when basketball is fun, when you know an entire group of guys is fighting for each other. So
Paul.
I mean, yes, defense wins championships, but you got to score points. And that's my fear in the short term is just, we're losing our point getters. And we've lost our biggest one. And that's kind of my biggest fear is just, you can stop guys from scoring, but you got to score as well. And, I really don't want Detroit's San Antonio games from the early 2000s.
Jake?
Well, that's the best transition because when you were saying does defense win championships, I'm like the Pistons with Ben Wallace and I mean the Spurs with Tim Duncan. I mean, of course, there's each team that's won the titles have usually had pretty decent defenses, but it's the unstoppable offenses, I think, more often than not that tend to win titles. So, I would think that offense is going to be a little bit more important. And as Paul said, we lost our big scorer, Landry Shamet. So it's going to be a while before we're able to get back into it and maybe campaign too. So we'll see. I don't know about this Booker guy, but the other guys, we're missing them.
No, very well said.
Also, can we talk about how painful it sounds that if you strain your groin, you have to sit out for a month? Boyd's probably done that a few times with how many kids he's had. That's the kind of exercise Booker needs to be engaged in right now, because maybe, you'd be a little bit more limber.
That's maybe why he's pulled the strained groin.
He did break up with Kendall.
Only came when he broke up with Kendall.
I'm just saying, the Aussie Suns pod is kind of like the after-hour Suns pod, and we've got some interesting theories here.
I'm guessing Devin Booker isn't straining his groin like kids do in high school, if you know what I'm saying. It isn't overused that way, at least.
Next question, and I'll start with Espo for this one. You've been around the team. Your level of input around the team and around the NBA, and we know how good you are at Random Suns. What is it that we really did to upset these NBA referees?
Well, we had a blatant jackass as owner for 18 years, which I don't think helped a whole hell of a lot on that front. And this current team is a bunch of whining assholes at times, and that doesn't help either. So I think those two factors kind of made the refs.
There's a lot of whining guys in this league who get calls.
Luka Doncic is the biggest whiny bitch I've ever seen.
Yeah, but he does it with a smile, and then he flirts with the female ref. There's a difference. Like we've got Chris Paul, who's basically "fuck you" and give me the call, right? Where these other guys are like, "I'm going to finesse it." Hell, me? Who? I can't believe you called it on me. And the Suns aren't like that. So,
because I asked the question in the PHNX pod. I don't think you guys got to it, but is DeAndre Ayton the most harshly treated center for calls in the NBA right now?
Yeah, but I think that's in part his own doing, because hasn't been known as a physical guy throughout his time. So when it comes out and he's making physical contact, it stands out because it's not something that he's done a lot. So at times, when he does get physical, like he talked about his mindset this year being, trying to be physical like it's the playoffs throughout the year, I think it's more noticeable with him as well. So I think that plays a big role into why he gets called when there's contact.
Paul, thoughts?
I agree with Espo. I think there's also a level of, I think we've complained for years that DA wasn't getting calls, but I mean he did get mauled down there. He's always been getting mauled. He just hasn't gotten, he's really finally starting to show that superstarness, taking that kind of lead with scoring and whatnot particularly these last few weeks with people out injured. And, you get the calls when you're a superstar, and, that just takes some time though.
Do you? Because I think Devin Booker has officially been a superstar for a couple of years now. He still doesn't get the calls.
Well, he does better than he used to. I mean, the best example I always have is look at, and I promise I'll be done with Landry Shamet after this comment, but look at when Landry Shamet actually takes it to the basket. I've never seen a Suns player get laid out more often than him trying to go in for a contested layup or dunk, and then he just gets mauled. He gets up and the ref's just like, nope, we're going the other way.
That's the other thing. We need a couple European guards on this team to teach our players how to flop. Because like the big guys don't flop, but those guards, they will flail arms and legs and whatever and other extremities to get that foul.
Look, Shamet did everything he could to get that foul on Aaron Gordon. It almost cost him his life. So let's show the man some respect. All right.
And I do agree with the comment you made yesterday in your pod, Espo. People are going to get stuck into Landry Shamet, and they're going to show that highlight, that Aaron Gordon dunk over and over. Honestly, Landry Shamet deserves more credit for standing the hell in the way of that. Because I'm telling you right now, I do that shit when I play basketball because I'm an idiot. But even I wouldn't have stood in the way of that.
Yeah, look, our friends at the Suns Jam Session pod call him Big Dick Book. That was Big Dick Sham, all right? He saw Aaron Gordon and said, I can make a business decision, or I could stand here and say, yeah, it scrapes on the floor. And he said it scrapes on the floor, all right?
One thing before I go to
that tripod to set himself
One, one thing before I go to Boyd. Comment from Coda Kid. More flirting, and we get the calls. Let's go. So off the back of your comments, Espo, can everyone imagine Chris Paul flirting with Scott Foster?
Hey, Scotty. You've screwed me more than any significant other. At least take me to dinner.
Boyd, what's your thoughts?
Mate, I hate the there's a difference between one player getting a foul called for him and a guy just because he has a better stature within the league. I fucking hate it. I really fucking hate that about NBA basketball. It's unheard of in most other sports that shit like that actually happens. I mean, Australian football doesn't happen. But I just really fucking dislike that. But I look with DA, I feel like there's something about it, the way that he postures himself. I don't know. Is he extremely upright and he's using the same amount of force as other guys, but it just doesn't look right with him.
To be honest, I think it's because he brings the ball low. I think you get less calls if you bring the ball low. It's an easier way to take the ball away. Even if there's contact, they don't call that as much.
You look at Giannis, and they literally gather the ball up and just fucking turn into a fucking bowling ball, and they put their head down and they drive through fucking anyone. Not bowl them over like fucking bowling.
Yeah, but it's body contact, right? So when DA goes in, they're trying to strip the ball when he's holding the ball low. With those guys, when they go in, the ball's high and it's body contact. And that's what the officials are looking for. They're not looking for the contact on the arms.
And look, it's
and
really
you see it all the time.
You're probably right. It's hard for me to put my finger on it, but we don't need any European guards in here to train the guys how to flop. I reckon we get Espo. He can get a job back with the team again. And you can just put that fucking voice on you had before, Espo, and show the guys how to talk. And mate, I think we'll start getting more calls straight up.
I'm willing to be the head flirting coach, the head officiating flirting coach for the Phoenix Suns. Matt Ishbia, call me up. All I need is that $100K that you donated to Brightside. Make that my salary, and we're in. So let's do this.
And we will talk about that one shortly too. My next question is for you guys. What is the best case and the worst case scenario you see from this period with our book? Now, they're talking 14 games or so. So what I've done is actually put down the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, next 14 games, not including today's game. So our run is Toronto away, Knicks away, Cavs away, Heat at home, Cavs at home, Warriors away, Nuggets away, Wolves away, Grizzlies away, Nets home, Pacers home, Grizzlies home, Hornets home, Mavs home. Now,
that sucks.
I wanted to throw those out there because you can hear just whether you've got it written down or not. You can hear that's a tough run, right? So, what do you think our best case and our worst case scenario is out of those? Jake, you can go first. Paul, try. No, okay.
I was going to say somebody's standing in a windstorm.
Boyd, can you mute?
Oh,
that's better.
Jake, somebody had a fan on. Is basically what that was.
Worst and best case scenario.
Okay. Best case scenario, the bench becomes a point of pride again for the Suns. When we came into the season, that was a big concern. I think in comparison to the last 2 years, we were a little bit higher on our bench. So they develop. I think in terms of a record, I'm going to be pleased if anything over 500 is going to be icing on the cake for me. If we can, that's kind of what I'm hoping we can do. But there's just and we have to also keep reminding ourselves it's not just Booker that's gone. We're down still a lot of people, and so it might if we can get 500, that should be good.
I would agree with that. Yeah, best case scenario is keeping 500 over this state. If we can come out of this at 500 ball, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I mean, 500's the best case scenario, I think. I mean, yeah, who knows? But Dwayne Washington Jr. could become the second coming. You know, I was joking he's the point disciple. I mean, maybe all of a sudden fills some crazy role and they win, 2/3 of the games. I just don't see it happening. I think 500 and staying around the 7th or 8th seed in the West is probably your best case scenario. And I think the West will still be kind of bunched together. So 7th or 8th won't be out of shouting distance from the top of the West. But there's a world where you lose 2/3 of these games. This is not an easy stretch. This is a lot of very good teams that you're playing, a lot of road games mixed in there. This could get ugly pretty quick if they don't get some of these guys not named Devin Booker that are out injured back in the fold. Campaign in particular, a guy that can score and help you out on that, because right now you're at a point where you need DA and CP3 or McHale, two of those three to have a big game, and then the bench to step up and compete. And I just don't know you have the horses to do it.
Yeah, we're playing like our bench is our bench's bench, really.
Yeah. And we're coming to the back end of Cam Johnson missing games. And I know that you guys have spoken about it a bit as well, Espo. The fact is that it's going to take him probably 10 games to get back into the swing of things. So hopefully and I did see on the broadcast today some vision of him actually working out before the game. He looks like he's moving quite well. So hopefully he's not that far away. But at least if he can get back and play sort of 5-6 games during this stretch without Book, that'll be an advantage for us, surely.
Yeah, I mean, if he can, again, I don't want to put too much expectation on Cam Johnson coming off of a major knee injury. I need to see it on the court. I need to see him get up to speed and play. But yeah, you need him back, because right now you really don't have any power forward. I love Torrey Craig, but he's a small forward masquerading as a power forward. You're trying to jam Jock Landell in there now. As much as I love Jock, playing him at power forward is a disservice to him as well. So,
and he's not a starter.
Yeah,
Jock's not a starter.
No, I mean, and that's been your big hole since the offseason, and really at parts of times last year too. So they need to figure that out.
Boyd,
I always go all the W's, mate. I just saw.
So we're going undefeated in this 15-game stretch.
14 games, wasn't it? But yeah,
I feel like Justin's on now.
We'll
So says Jay's on. We're gonna win everything, guys.
We'll take him out. We just saw our second unit beat the fucking almighty Ja Morant and the fucking Memphis Grizzlies, who are at full strength and aren't worried about anything in the West. So, you know what? That's what I'm expecting every game that I watch anyway. So, yeah, I'll go with the we'll be at the top of the West after by the time Book comes back.
I will buy you a beer if that happens.
And I'm not going to sit here and argue with you guys either, all right?
It's extremely optimistic, but it's why we love you, Boyd.
I think the one thing we can take solace on is a lot of the other teams that are kind of right around us, that in that kind of like at the low to mid playoff teams are also missing or will be missing players in the near future. I mean, Steph's out for a while. Minnesota, which is just on the edge of the play-in right now, is missing Cat. Sacramento, Domantas Sabonis is trying to play through a fractured hand, which sounds awesome. Actually, I think they said he has a fractured ligament. I didn't know you could fracture a ligament.
Yeah, fractured ligament in his finger is what Sean
I didn't know
said.
you could fracture a ligament. I thought you could only tear ligaments and fracture bones. So please, somebody explain that one to me.
It's Sacramento. Their training staff just spins a wheel and picks two terms and rolls with it. So.
So I think I personally I think like it's a 14-game stretch. The Suns have to aim for 500 out of these 14 games. If we could do that And I saw something or read something today that effectively the target would be that last game against the Mavs where Book would come back. So if we can go 500 during that, which would keep us well above 500 and probably around, fifth or sixth in the West at that stage, I'd be pretty happy with that. And by that time, Cam Johnson's back, Book's back. Hopefully a trade's done. We're actually looking okay. Really, I want to see us with the trade, with guys getting healthy, everything like that, targeting the last 30 games to really make sure that we finish in that 1 to 6. Doesn't matter where. I don't care. 1 to 6, healthy for the last 30 games, and then flowing into playoffs from there. I think that's probably the best position that we can look at right now for that. Now, before I move into the next question, which I've deliberately put in here just to see if I can wind Espo up a little bit, I'll bring Hammo in. Hammo, how you going, buddy?
Gentlemen, so glad I can make it here. I didn't realise a garbage truck could move that fast.
My next question is we have to make a move narrative. Now, I know you've been very, very loud on this, Espo. I've been pretty loud on this on Twitter as well. Now, I'm not sure that the noise that you're making and the noise that I'm making are along the same lines, but there's the thing that I really want to address is people on Twitter, Suns fans on Twitter, and people who are bashing James Jones right now. I don't know where that motorbike's coming from, but people who are bashing James Jones right now, you need to understand, well, this is my point of view only, right? You need to understand something. Just because we want somebody to come into our team, let's say Kyle Kuzma or Kevin Durant in the preseason, or Pascal Siakam, or the one today because he scored nearly 30 points is Rui Hachimura.
Rui.
Number one, it has to fucking add up from a cap perspective. Number two, the other team has to agree to it. If they don't, like everybody's sitting there like this is NBA 2K and we could just turn on forced trades and go, James Jones is sitting on his ass and doing fuck all because he hasn't traded for Kyle Kuzma yet. Well, he might have sent some stuff to Washington about Kyle Kuzma. But Washington went, yeah, you know what? No, fuck, no. We need to take a step back and wait and see what comes back from the information that's out there at the moment, yeah?
We also need to take a step back and just think about historically how many trades really happen in a given season before the trade deadline. They don't. You maybe have like 2 or 3, maybe.
Now, don't get me wrong. We need to make this move. Jay Crowder's
we need to make a move.
Roster spot. And we need to fill that roster spot, especially now that we've got fucking injuries coming out of Boyd's ass.
2 roster spots.
We've got more injuries than Boyd's got kids, which is all I thought was impossible. But we have to be realistic about it because I don't want to see us trading Jay Crowder for, let's say, Pat Beverly.
Oh, God. No, look, I mean, my biggest problem is they've needed to make a trade since the last trade deadline. I mean, this is not news. And my frustration with James Jones comes from the fact that the Jay Crowder situation is one of his own creation, right? He could have told Jay, no, you'll show up, you'll play. We're gonna pay you. That's the only way. They could have tried harder to smooth it over in the off season because it sounds like that was a cluster in and of itself. Those are my frustrations. Like I understand the reality of trying to make a move, especially when other teams know that you have to make a move with a guy. And I also don't expect the world back in a trade. Everybody
which takes their leverage, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't have leverage. That's the thing. Right now, you're a team that has a guy that has sat out since before training camp that has major injuries. Where's your leverage? Every GM's going to try to call your bluff and try to squeeze every last thing out of you. I don't blame Utah on that rumored deal that came out earlier in the weekend saying, no, we want 2 first-rounders in this because they know that the Suns are desperate. And if they can, if Danny Ainge can squeeze 2 first-round picks out of James Jones out of desperation, he's going to do that. Because what's their motivation to move anybody right now? None. They can sit around and wait to make their move, but the Suns need a move sooner rather than later, and that's where this is all coming from.
See, I think we need a little bit more Ryan McDonough than James Jones right now because, and this goes way back, Paul. Paul's repping the shirt. I remember the days where Espo and Dave King's my son's daddy had the courtroom on McDonough and deciding whether or not he was guilty as charged or not. But one thing that McDonough did well, I thought, is he got dirty in some trades and he did some good deals there. Now, obviously, he didn't pick the right people to draft, and his reputation in terms of being liked by the player relations is not nearly what James Jones is. I mean, the fact McDonough would have said, "Hey, we're not paying you. You're going to show up," or we're not paying you. Whereas James is kind of, "Hey, repairing that. So you don't want to play for us? That's fine. Sit at home. We'll send you a paycheck." Which who wouldn't love that job? I think.
I think that James did that because he thought that the offers for Jay Crowder were going to be far higher, whatever. Like we were going to get better offers for Jay Crowder and earlier than what it is now. But there needs to come a time, and this is where I do agree, where James Jones turns around and goes, "Hey, Jay, listen, we looked after you trying to find a deal. We couldn't find a deal that was suitable for the team. It's time for you to come back to work. And if you don't want to come back to work, that's fine. We won't pay you."
That was going to be my next question, man. If you think it's salvageable, because I put it out in the chat the other day, and I was playing 2K, and goddamn, I miss what Jay Crowder used to bring for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's not salvageable. I mean,
no.
It's like, hey, we're separated, and I'm seeing other people. I mean, Jay's making eyes at anybody that'll listen at this point. Here's a team that's interested. He's liking anybody that puts him in that jersey. He's sending out tweets left and right. I think we're past that point of no return, and I think we're past the point where you can even say to him, "Hey, we're not paying you." That would have been 2 weeks into the season. You have that now. You just look like you don't know what you're doing if you're James Jones and you pull that. You look bad in player relations, and that's what he prides himself on. So there's no going back on that.
It's just a shame, mate.
But before because off the back of this, I've got one like a one-word answer from each of you. But again, Rui let us know that we fucked up for not trading him. Jokes. But for those Suns fans that were on Twitter today losing their fucking minds about that comment in particular, again, the rumored trade that was out there for Rui Hachimura, the numbers didn't work. So it could not have been a fucking actual trade. Guys, just have a look a little bit deeper sometimes. And this one here, what? Pugs and hugs. Why is Monty an absolute knob? I really like to hear those. All right, Jay Crowder trade. Let's say in the next week or so, it happens. Whatever goes with it. I want a one-word answer from each of you. Out of the rumors that have happened so far, let's leave KD in the preseason because let's be honest, they're on a 10-game win streak and it ain't happening no more. One-word answer out of the rumors that are out there right now. Which player do you want us to trade KD for, Hammo?
Trade KD for?
Trade Jay Crowder for, sorry.
When I was chatting with Jake in the Suns Jam session, it was
that is not a one-word answer.
Steven Adams.
Okay, contracts won't work. Boyd.
Give me PJ Washington.
Paul.
I'll go Kuz.
Jake.
Yeah. Siakam.
Espo.
I'd like Kuzma. I'll settle for what's his face, Grayson Allen if I have to.
Anything right now?
There's levels to this Espo, and that's a level Like that's a deal with the devil that, just guarantees us just bad juju.
I will make any deal with the devil if it brings you one step closer to getting out of this pit that they're in right now. So
I
the
don't think
despair is
Grayson
enough.
Allen's going to do that. I'm
I'm
sorry.
going to go with Hammo's answer and Cody Kidd's answer here with Montrez and Stephen Adams. Why would we want to trade for another centre? We need a power forward or a shot creator. It is that simple. We don't need another centre.
No, we don't. But we moved DA to power forward.
I hate it. It's fucking horrific.
We could do that now with the guys we have.
Yeah.
I like the old school look, but I can't.
I am taking. I'm with Jake. I'm taking Siakam every day of the week.
Yeah,
if we're going to roll the dice hard. If we're gonna throw it out there and get rid of our picks, which we all know James Jones loves to get rid of, let's throw them all at Toronto and get Siakam. And that's mainly off the back of the fact that I think Kuzma's most likely. But I've always had, as everybody in Aussie Suns fans world knows, I've always had this deep hatred for Kyle Kuzma, and I can't let it go. I just can't.
Dreaming's free. If Siakam happens, I'll buy everybody around. All right.
That sounds.
I swear, Boyd comes
perfect.
back with another kid every time he steps away. So here's the latest
Next time's
one
gonna
that
be a dingo.
No, exactly. Here's what I saw most recently from another YouTube channel, and it was Crowder, Shamet, and Saric, plus 4 first-round picks from the Suns for Siakam, because the Raptors are 10th. They're really not going to go anywhere. Should they look to build for the future around Barnes? So maybe they're interested.
I think they will. I actually think they will. I think they'll head that way.
It's just not enough value for Shamet.
Well, true. They actually threw in this one. They threw in Torrey Craig too. You don't have to make the numbers work. I guess in theory you could send that to the Raptors, but Raptors would have too many people. They'd probably buy Torrey Craig out, and then knowing James Jones, he'd say, "Torrey, come back down. We'll give you another minimum contract, and you can play for us."
I think that's important to know about the Kuzma deal. Is the Wizards are actually over the cap. So that makes it very, very difficult for this Crowder trade with Kuzma to happen. I think the likelihood of something like that happening will only happen with the third team, just because of the difficulties in the numbers. The only way it makes sense for the numbers is actually Crowder and Cam Johnson, and I don't think we're trading those two for Kyle Kuzma.
I think the third team is definitely the road.
Yeah.
Quit spoiling our fun.
Wait a minute. I mean, Boyd said defense wins championships. You can't tell me that Paul, Booker, Bridges, Ayton, and Siakam wouldn't get us into the title run. So I don't care how many first-round picks you got to throw at it and wasted contracts.
Give them all and pick swaps. Let's go back to the KD discussions in preseason. Give it all to them and bring me Siakam, because I think
he would give us exactly what the team needs: defense, rebounding, and shot creating. He can do all 3 of those.
Can we give him a break on some mortgages with Ishbia's company too? And
I think we should
really
absolutely, and he doesn't have to pay that higher Canadian income tax. I mean, there's benefits to be done here.
There's deals that can be done. Speaking about Ishbia, new owners, we haven't really spoken about it. We've got some guys here that have probably heard some more than what we have. The main thing that we've heard was, and I loved it, was the 100K donation to Brightside Night, which is fantastic. Congratulations, Dave King. The Ishbia brothers donated 100K, looked after him, looked after the underprivileged kids over there that are going to get to go to the game against Toronto and Phoenix. But we have been sold. Espo, tell us about the new owner.
Yeah, look, he's a guy that has deep pockets from taking his father's mortgage company from 7 employees to 7,000, or to 17 employees to 7,000 employees. He's worth, he and his brother are worth a significant amount of money. They're paying what amounts to $2.5 billion for 60% of the team. So they'll still have a lot of liquidity there. He's a guy that knows basketball. He played for Michigan State, and Tom Izzo actually won a championship as a walk-on with that
Did
team.
he actually walk on, or did he get bought on? I'm just wondering.
I don't know. Either way, I don't really care.
Think he had the money when he was 20 or 19, but
he was there. So he's got more championship rings than the Suns and us combined at this point. So he was there. And from everything I can see, and granted, I don't know the man, but everything I can see, he seems like he, at least on the surface, understands what it takes to have a public persona and run a company and not be a total douchebag about it. And that's a step up. I mean, just the fact that he and his brother, even if it is all for a PR play, if that's what's going on, donated $100,000 to a charity before they even bought the team, and actually chased down Dave to do it. Like this wasn't like they just went on the website and they're like, "Hey, let's donate 100,000." Like they made the effort.
A hell of a
no, they would have reached their PayPal limit real quick there. But they so they seem like clicking up. I talked with Justin Ishbia, and he was talking about how much they're excited to be part of this community, that they wanted to do something nice for the community while they were waiting for everything to be finalized, and they decided to go that route. So all in all, I feel pretty good about where this is. Granted, you probably could have sold them to anybody but Peter Thiel, and I would have felt pretty good about it at this point.
The other thing I really love about it is in the articles I have read and done some research myself, he seems really, really competitive. And there's one owner that he went to school with at Michigan State who owns another team in the NBA. Who's that?
I don't know if the only connection with another owner that I'm aware of is the fact that he and Dan Gilbert with the Cavs run competing mortgage companies.
It's Gilbert. Yeah.
So he and Dan Gilbert are going to.
They hate each other. Yeah.
Suns and Cavs just became natural rivals, even though it doesn't.
Are we renaming the arena again?
Probably not until Footprint runs out of money. Then probably yes, but it won't be the Quicken Loans Arena. Yeah, I can tell you that much.
But it's the one of the things that really stood out to me is people who have been around him have said he's ultra competitive. And the feedback from that is that if he's buying it, and even Magic Johnson said it, and we all know, and I love Magic, he's one of my favorite players of all time, but he is the biggest Captain Obvious in the history of the world. But he came out and he said, if he's going to the Suns fans, get ready, because this dude does not like to lose.
I can't wait for GM Magic Johnson.
Well, just look at it this way. He's, if he's got any kind of the attitude that the guys who own the Warriors have, he's got 2.5 times their Lacob's net worth. And that's just Matt. And then you add in Justin in there. I think we'll be okay, from a spending standpoint.
Yeah, and since some of the minority owners aren't leaving, from what it sounded like, if Najafi is one of those staying, he's worth $3 or $4 billion himself. So there'll be enough money to go around. It'll just depend on how they run it and what direction they try to go. But I think the days of cheap skating and dealing 2 first-round picks to save some money, those are long gone. So
Justin's still in the chat, so let's not talk about cheap skating. He gets very, very upset and wound up whenever anyone does.
He's looking for a job, though, apparently.
Yes. Well, I did see that, Espo, when you did speak to Justin, did you ask them about hiring a new general counsel for the Suns?
I did. I passed around your resume already. I said you've represented me quite respectfully over the years, so you're in the loop now.
Very
I did
good.
have to hire him as my representation.
Smart move.
Probably was a smart move. We are bringing them online we're bringing Justin online as our representation in America for Aussie Suns.
I heard he can do international law too. So if you guys get in any trouble, just fly him out there. He'll represent you out there in Australia as well.
That sounds
I
like
mean,
an
he's
invitation.
not going to do any good at it, but he'll be out there for it. So,
Hammo, your thoughts on the new ownership?
Look, I feel like listening to all of this, we should be jumping up and down and rejoicing, but it just seems a little bit not too good to be true. But it's like, oh, we won't go crazy just yet.
Well, because every billionaire's got a skeleton in their closet. Clearly, it's just how big is the skeleton?
Totally.
Well,
Totally.
I think with
You're
the-
just waiting for
I
the
think-
shoe to drop at this point.
Let's be honest. At the height of media was when he bought it. So surely someone was trying to dig that shit up by now.
Oh yeah. I bet the
there'd
NBA
be
did
people
major
out
due
there,
diligence. but-
trench coats, alleyways. There'd be some, a
And
dog-
Espo, you work in marketing and promotion and all that sort of shit. All that stuff would have come out now, right?
I'd imagine
Not in
so,
6 months' time.
especially because you're coming off of an owner that's leaving because of embarrassment. So I'd imagine you're doing your due diligence. People like the Baxter Holmes of the world that wrote the original article that led to the downfall of the future former owner. Would be looking into this. I'm sure there's something. I mean, all of us have done things that we're not exactly proud of in this world, but I don't think at this point it doesn't seem like anything massively seedy. I imagine it would have come out. Now that I've said that, tomorrow an article will drop. But
the worst thing I've seen is that he told his employees he didn't want them to work from home anymore.
Yeah, but I also, to counter that, I've also seen he only wants them to work 40 hours a week, but put in a hard 40 at the office and then take their time at home too. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Like
It's tough,
I mean,
isn't it?
yeah, I mean, so whatever. If the worst thing is he wants them to work in the office and work hard for 40 hours a week, I think that's acceptable. So
Yeah, that sounds terrible. Jake, thoughts?
Well, I think exactly. Well, first off, Hammo, did the lady wise up and get you the PS5 for Christmas?
She certainly did.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I see she's in the chat.
She taped a PS2 and a PS3 together.
So you got the PS8 now? No, no. I think so. As it comes to the ownership, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, what were some of the names getting tossed around? Let's see.
Iger.
Yeah, Iger. Like my betting app had like Elon Musk. It had Jeff Bezos. It was just like, which one of these supervillains that fights Superman do you want to come take over the Phoenix Suns? And so it was a weird thing to watch. Like some Suns fans be like, well, as long as he's got the money to put it into the team. And all of a sudden I heard Matt Ishbia, if I'm saying his name right, and I'm just like, oh, there's other billionaires out there that don't just like get constantly thrown in the news all the time about, and have like their secret agents all over the media, like planting articles being like, this guy's a jerk. Actually, he's pretty good. So I was like, hey, there's more billionaires out there than we thought. And
Until we have another
if we
housing
know less
crash.
about him, maybe that's a good thing.
Kind of cool that
Look-
we hadn't heard of him.
Yeah.
I thought it
look,
was.
Satan could have come in with a $10 billion deal, and I would have been like, all right, let's just try to get that championship. Like at
Give
this
it 2
point,
years,
as
see what
long as
happens.
you're willing to spend to win, come on in. You're welcome in Phoenix, is my feeling. Within
So
reason.
Satan's better than Sarver, Espo?
Well, I will. Let me just say, I've worked for one of them, and I have insight into at least one of them. So,
to back you up, though, Espo, I feel like we hear a lot of times, why do the basketball gods hate the Suns so much? So maybe we do need the devil or some sort of a shakeup in Mount Olympus to just kind of, because they're not going to change. They're not going to all of a sudden be like, no, we like Booker. We're going to start blessing the Phoenix Suns. Like, it's time the Suns fans fight back a little bit.
usually you have to make a sacrifice to make the gods feel better. So hopefully Sarver is that sacrifice, and everything looks better soon. Guys, I gotta run. I hate to do this.
Before you do, we can't have you go without us doing random Suns.
All right, bring it on.
It's unacceptable. But before we do that, just quickly, when's the international Die Hard membership coming? on the
I will
PHNX.
personally make one for you. What perks would you like for the international diary?
Well,
Do I have to mail you some 4 peaks?
Private jets to
Yeah,
America.
private jet,
Die hard.
trips over. Have a look at it. There's a lot of stuff that we can't access because it's America again. But yeah, anything you can do there, international membership. I'm keen.
I'm pretty sure I can't mail you 4 peaks or OGs without breaking some international laws.
I don't need any of that, but definitely, we want all the content, we want all that sort of stuff. But maybe a free T-shirt.
I can make that happen. I can make that happen. International shipping's not a
Do you
problem.
make onesies for babies?
I can make
Little
that
ones
happen.
look a little bit cold. That's all.
All right, has everyone got a pen and paper? This is our biggest turnout for Random Sons, and because Espo was coming on, I have made it a little bit more challenging, but I've thrown some easy ones in. So Paul, welcome along to Random Sons, and your first one's going to be difficult. Let me know when you're all ready. All got pens, papers?
Quick question. Was it Boyd that completely guessed the wrong player the last time?
Yes, it was.
Okay, just want to make sure I know my competition.
I'm good to go when you are.
Here we go. I'm only playing it once, so get ready, gents.
Okay, did it not stutter for other people? Was it only me?
Maybe it was only you.
Oh, no.
No.
I saw only 3 people because it froze and then it froze at the end, too. Oh, my gosh.
How many were we supposed to have? I only saw 4.
I saw 4.
There was 4. There was
Okay.
4.
Didn't see any. I'm just
Chat.
trying to watch it.
Right. Chat, please don't comment at the moment. And Espo, you're going last.
Okay.
Who was number 1, Boyd?
Joe Klein.
Paul?
Joe Klein.
Jake?
I didn't see that one, so we'll go with Magic Lamp.
Hammo?
Cleveland Brown.
And Espo?
It was Joe Klein.
It was indeed Joe Klein. Who was number 2, Boyd?
That was Googs, my man. Googs.
Paul?
Googs.
I do agree with this, Justin. From now on, I will make them write it down and show it. Hammo?
I'm just catching up now.
All right, Jake?
Gugliotta.
And Espo?
Yeah, that was Tom Gugliotta.
Yeah, it was Tom Gugliotta. Who was number 3, Boyd?
Mr. Price. Ronnie.
Paul?
We're going 3 for 3. Ronnie Price.
Jake?
Paul's just fucking copying
Ronnie
me.
Price.
No. I got it. If you can read my shitty handwriting, it's there.
I only saw 3 of them. I'm automatically down. Yeah.
Hammo?
I had no idea.
And Espo?
Ronnie Price, the pride of Utah State University, I believe.
And the last one, Boyd.
Oh fuck! I didn't. I could only see the bottom of his head, so I didn't get him.
Paul?
No idea. I don't. If it's pre-Barkley, I have no idea.
It was pre-Barkley.
Jake?
Connie Hawkins.
Hammo?
I was going to say the same.
And Espo?
I want to say Truck Robinson, but I don't think I'm right there. I'm blanking on it, so I'm gonna go Truck, but I don't think I'm right.
It was James Edwards.
God damn it! And I had Edwards in my mind, but couldn't think of James. So. Damn.
I've tried with Espo. I've made it.
He's really made it. At least we nailed one. Howard did get it right in the chat. It was James Edwards. So
Espo's not going to sleep tonight. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm already pulling up the all-time numerical roster, and I'm studying tonight. So
he's going back. He's gonna be watching YouTube highlights. He's getting down some very deep rabbit holes.
I'm personally calling James Edwards tonight to apologize.
And I'm going to get, I'm sure I'm going to get a request tonight, and Espo's going to go, when can I come on next? We need another Random Sons. I've got to make up for that one. Espo, thank you so much for joining us for the first 50 minutes or so. Appreciate it after you've already done a couple of pods today.
Anytime, guys. Talk to you soon.
Nice to see you, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Love you.
You waited until it was signed off on that one. Love you.
All right, James.
Catch it on the listen back.
Hey, Gavin,
yes,
I gotta ask though. We need to have. You need to choose a podcast date and have like a full-on tournament, like first to 10 correct answers.
Random Sons tournament. I like it.
Of guessing former Suns players.
I'm taking that trophy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Fuck off.
Hammo, you're lucky if you've got 4 correct since we've started Random Sons.
Who got Pat Riley, though?
That's true. You did get Pat Riley, but so did everyone else.
I just always want to go back and watch Boyd just see like the obscure half of an ear of another player and just be like, was that Bo Outlaw? No, it was Lou Amundsen. What were you looking? Oh, I saw the black ear. That's what it was, right? No,
it was Sean Marks in the middle of the screen defending, yes. And half of PJ Tucker, and he went with PJ Tucker.
Yeah, I saw the Kerr, the KER must be PJ, right?
He wasn't wrong though.
Sean Marks looked like
half a point.
Fucking yeah. Anyway,
all right, gents. Last thing in this week in Suns basketball, player of the week. Who was your player of the week this week? Let's go with Hammo. You can go first.
I'm going to go with the Kogi, just because he doesn't normally get nominated for stuff like this, and our other guys were sort of up, down. So I'm just going to give it to a Kogi.
Boyd.
I'll give it to DA. He's not going to get many more spots. When we've got a full squad back, I'm going to be giving a lot to Booker. I'm envisioning. So, I'm going to give it to DA. Look, he had a 30 banger. He hasn't really dominated. I would say, but I just like that he's just a little bit more consistent recently.
I'll tell you right now, I don't think DA's played a shit game in 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's
he's had a couple of low stat type games, but even those he hasn't played shit DA basketball. We just haven't given him the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah, I was going to say DA too. I was just looking up his last 5 games or so, and he's got 2 30-point games in there, 3 double-doubles. The lowest game he had was 15 points, and that was in the game last night against Memphis where it was such a blowout he didn't even play the 4th.
Yeah,
basically. So,
and he was compared to the first time around against the Grizz, where he basically got bullied by Steven Adams. Really, he bounced back in that game yesterday. He was the best big guy on the court. Jake,
I'm going to go Cameron Payne for that outfit he had on the bench last night. That guy's got some swag to him. I was actually torn between Okogie and Ayton. Okogie just brings that. He needs to get a new nickname like Sir Joshua, like Sir Charles Barkley, because of how many just rebounds he goes in and steals from other players. I'm down with Sir Joshua from now on. But DA's consistency, and as you say, Gavin, Suns fans for some reason love to hate on Ayton, and all he's been doing is consistently shooting the lights out, scoring baskets. And we'd love for him to draw more fouls. We'd love for him to lay a few more people out, but we're also missing a lot of players. So I think that's why we're just not getting as many wins as we would hope. But Ayton he's been kind of the light in the dark places right now.
He is absolutely dominating, and I love it. I stuck with him, even though everyone gave up on him. I stuck with him, and the man is.
Well, do you guys know that we should have drafted Luka Doncic?
Oh, really?
I don't know if you guys
Was
have
he
heard
in the
this
same
theory.
draft?
I don't know if you've heard this theory, but we should have drafted Luka. Because apparently he's better, according to some Suns comment sections.
Right. Right. And apparently...
And then we'd be the Mavericks.
The argument I copped yesterday was, and I copped it a little bit on Twitter because I said if Luka Doncic was at Phoenix, I don't believe that Devin Booker would be there right now. And I still either. Believe that. And DeAndre Ayton was the best fit for the lineup that we had. And let's be honest, are we going to take a half a strength Phoenix team that's sitting, around the mark and in the top 6, or a just above 500 team in Dallas who has one player who runs around sooking, flopping, falling over, carrying on like a fucking idiot?
But he gets calls. The refs would love us.
He's got shitty tattoos.
Yeah. And his mom's hot, if you remember when he got drafted.
Yeah, I think he and his mom are on the outs, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did his mom go all like Larsa Pippen, start dating players?
And
his mom meant Delonte West.
And this is where
trademark Doncic 7-7 or something like that.
This is where you know that a player has no character when, because his mum's hot, right? Luka's mum, but his mum also hates his guts. So if your mum hates you, you're not a good person. It's your fucking mum, man. I could seriously hold up a service station in a fucking balaclava and then take it off and get caught with a fucking camera, and my mum would still love me.
And we're just a little disappointed in you.
Anyway, my player of the week, I agree with Hammo. I'm going with Josh Okogie this week because that dude has fucking energy. My God, do I love watching Josh Okogie on the floor.
It's crazy, reckless. Man. It is crazy energy.
Did not play enough tonight. But I think he was sort of cooked tonight, to be honest, and that's why he probably didn't play as many minutes as he should have. But yeah, man, fuck, I love Josh Okogie. I've got a little bit of a man crush on Josh right now, and so does Chris Paul, by the way. If you watch the after game, what? Justin says, I bet Pat Beverley's parents hate him. Well, there's no proof of that, Justin.
He doesn't know who they are.
But let's be honest.
His parents are probably his dealers. They probably fucking love it.
Let's be honest. I think Pat Bev is one of those people where it wouldn't matter whether he held up a service station. His parents would still like him. That's how fucking shit Luka Doncic is as a person.
No, you know that Pat Bev shoved his parents in the back near a subway track at one point.
Surely someone in the NBA, a player right now who wants to get under Doncic's skin, is sliding into Mrs. Doncic's DMs. Like, imagine it comes out like, use him again, Pat Bev is dating Luka's mum. Like, oh my God, a guy of laughter, man.
So we're 3-1. So the Aussie Suns fans player of the week is DeAndre Ayton. Well done, big fella. Love you. Wrapped for you, gents. Important question.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with this week, Paul? You are our first timer on this.
I am.
Who do you want to have a beer with? Keep in mind, we've already had a beer together, even though you sat inside most of the time chatting up some dude at the bar.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he bought my food and everything. It was nice.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
It was cute. It was cute.
It was cute.
It's a roofie.
I want to have a beer with Landry because drinking when you have a concussion is always super fun.
Is that the only reason?
No.
The only reason The only reason you want to have a beer with Landry Shamet is because he's got concussion. He doesn't even have concussion. He's hurt his Achilles.
Old mate sat on his head. He's got a concussion.
Boyd, who do you want to have a beer with this week?
Oh man, it's got to be fucking a Kogi. And just on the heels of what you guys were talking about, the energy. Imagine that cunt on the piss. Can you imagine how fucking amped he'd be? Oh man, I just had fun trying to
1 hour and 5 minutes before our first cunt.
That's a long record.
I'm doing well.
Josh and Kogi for you. Jake, who do you want to have a beer with this week?
Hammo's lady, because honestly, more women would be a lot more attractive if they bought their men PlayStation 5s and helped. I said, hey, you want the new NBA 2K? Hey, do you want the new Elder Scrolls, new Witcher game? We'll get you hooked up. I want to sit there and watch you play it. Some of the sweetest things a nice lady can say to her man.
Beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Well, Tony Hawk action.
There you go. Old school with it.
Hey, mate. Duck Shoot.
I don't know
how long ago I played video games.
Super Mario Brothers.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what I got.
Duck Hunt.
It goes both ways. I've got her a Nintendo Switch, so there is Super Mario being played. I don't know his name, and I didn't see the game, but I've seen the snippet in our chat. Old mate, big fella that grabbed the fan by the throat.
You stole my shit, man.
What's this?
I missed this one.
You
last 2 minutes today?
Did you guys turn the game off?
I mean, that's the way it.
At the end of the game, there was 2 drunk people sitting courtside who were getting stuck into Monty and mouthing off and whatever. And old mate Max, our the number 1 security guard for the Suns, went over. Basically,
I always see that guy hanging out.
Yeah. Basically, you guys need to leave. He did these ones and went, the exit's that way. And the guy mouthed off. So Max grabbed him by the throat and basically went for the choke slam before police came in and stopped it.
It's not going to work, is it?
Right at the end of the game today. Check it out. If I find it on Twitter, I'll tag you guys in it. But yeah. Max went, and Max looks like a big teddy bear. He looks like the nicest bloke. But also, he looks like a dude, if you fucked with him, he would rip you apart.
He'd probably grab you by the throat and choke slam you, right?
Yeah. And so I also wanted to have a beer with Max because he seems like a cool dude.
I can't believe nobody wanted to have a drink with Matt Ashiba. I feel like he would drink something real fancy, though.
There's plenty of time for that.
Okay.
Look, as long as he shouted, I'd be good with that. But yeah, Matt and what's the other brother's name? Justin.
Come on, how'd you forget Justin?
Matt and Justin Ishbia for donating 100K before they even own the team to Brightside Night. Shout out Dave King. Show us that T-shirt again, Paul.
Oh yeah, big old Dave Daddy.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure that Matt and Justin went and both bought one of those T-shirts afterwards, and we'll wear them to the game that day. But shout out to them too. They'd be great.
If they haven't, we should buy them and send them to their offices.
We'll put the call out. Voider, you need to just donate shirts to both Matt and Justin.
Yeah, so talk to Dave, get the contact info. Just
that Washington fans stormed the Suns bench like it was the Capitol.
Disavow everything. Disavow. Didn't happen. Patriots are everywhere.
That's magnificent. Gentlemen, next important question.
Time for the flog of the week. And trust me, they are ugly. Very unattractive. Google their face when you're done here.
Who's your flog of the week? Jake.
Oh, John Morant, Mr. We don't have to worry about anything in the West. I got the West on lockdown. Then he goes, hits 1-3, and he starts, Oh, and he's still down by like 10, 12 points. He's, look at me. I'm amazing. And then he ended up getting crushed. And it was just like, dude, that's why Josh Okogie is so fun to watch, because he like embarrassed Dylan Brooks by hassling him. And then after he like would steal the ball, he wouldn't be like, you suck. He would just be like, okay, on the next play. And that was almost like colder. It's like that Kobe Bryant-esque, like, I just like people remember that scene of Matt Barnes with the inbound pass, and he fakes it to Kobe's right in his face, and Kobe just
doesn't flinch.
Doesn't even flinch. That's a Kobe right now. But you have guys like John Morant and Dylan Brooks that just Ja would have ducked.
Now, before we go any further into the flog of the week, we have been joined by the great Darth Vader in the chat.
No, he's tired.
He's watching live.
He's too tired.
He's too tired. Vader, we've just had a discussion about the donation to the Brightside Night by the Espiers. You need to stop being a tight ass and send your really, really expensive T-shirts, one to Matt, one to Justin. Waiting for your feedback. Paul, who's your flog of the week?
It's always going to be Dylan Brooks when it comes to the Grizzlies. It's always going to be Dylan Brooks.
You stole mine, yeah. He is an absolute worm-looking motherfucker who mouths off, who is not that good. He looks like
he's the American def.
Whoa.
Hey.
Whoa.
Well, you guys couldn't hear that? Oh.
Who did I lose?
Because that was me trying to guess who the Suns guys were.
Anyway, in Men in Black, you know those little weedy worm-looking motherfuckers that in Men in Black?
The worms.
That drink all the
This is such an old reference.
Yeah, the worms. Yeah. Coffee. That's what Dylan Brooks looks like.
So obscure.
Yeah.
I'll take it though.
You're back.
Dylan Brooks is Kelly Oubre if Kelly Oubre was an ugly person. In terms of his game, like his game reminds me very much of Kelly Oubre, and I'm sure Grizzlies fans love him for the energy, but he's not a handsome man, and that's why it's so much easier to hate Dylan Brooks.
Nor is he any good. And I've said it.
Well, and Oubre's kind of, yeah.
I've said it multiple times. No, neither of them are any good. Multiple times I've said it. I'll say it again. He is Pat Beverly light.
Light Pat Bev. You don't think Pat Bev is Dylan Brooks light?
Maybe. Well, no, this year, yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, because Pat Bev stepped back.
They're pretty excited. I did see a post the other day about his last week's been like beautiful because he's had like 11 points and 3 rebounds. Good on you, Pat. That's amazing. Anyway, Dylan Brooks, you're a worm-looking motherfucker. Can't wait to punch you in the face. Boyd, who's your flog of the week?
Oh, it's that fucking cunt Nate, our fucking co-host. He came all the way over from Singapore to spend time with his family in Brisbane, and he had a piss up with all of his so-called mates, which he told us in our chat. And I thought,
he said he was on the piss today, but then he came out and went, "No, I'm actually flying back to Singapore today."
Well,
wait,
no, yesterday.
Translate that for the American audience.
Yeah, did he get in a fight? Did he get drunk?
He got drunk with some other guys, and then he was drunk today, but he was actually on a flight.
Well, he basically organised to catch up with some mates and get on the piss. So on the piss means drinking with his mates.
Yeah, we need to use that more often up here.
And he didn't invite Boyd, so Boyd's butt hurt.
Yeah. Hey, and he said it in our chat. I'm the only other cunt in fucking Brisbane. And he goes, I'm drinking with my Brisbane mates before I fly back to Singapore. I'm like, cunt, who am I to you? Do you even like me? And that really hurt my feelings.
Do you even like me?
It really fucking hurt my feelings.
Oh my gosh, boy. I feel so bad for you now, man.
I cannot wait for Nate to listen to this. All I could say is eat a dick. It is fucking great that he fucking left you at home. because you're a piece of shit. And the only reason I caught up with you last time I was in Brisbane was because somebody let it slip that I was traveling there, and you went, "Oh, can I come catch up with you?" I wouldn't have told you otherwise.
So yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for having pity on me. Cheers.
Hey, mate, who's your flog?
Now send me that fucking Chris Paul jersey and hurry up.
You cunt.
Yeah, you can't.
So much emphasis on it.
I'm getting used to it, man. It's new.
I'll tell you what, I'm pretty
I have
sure
a
I know
wife,
what
she'd murder
little
me if
Chuck's
she heard me
first
say
word's
that.
going to be.
Who's your fucking flog of the week? Hey, mate, come on.
I'm glad Jake reminded me of it before when you were talking about Campaign's outfit. Fucking Landry Shamet and that blue fucking tea towel thing that he had wrapped around him during yesterday's game. What the flying fuck was that, man? Seriously.
Looked like a 1990s suburban dad. Just like,
it's like
really excited that his kids play t-ball.
Maybe it's a dishcloth or something, but in Australia we call them chucks. And it's like a fucking dishcloth. He looked like he was just wearing a skin-tight fucking chucks. He's a muppet. He's a muppet. What the fuck?
Poor Landry.
Fuck Landry.
Well, yeah, poor
Boyd and Landry. Landry needs to fly out and go see Boyd.
Hey, mate, you need to pull your fucking head in. First of all, you've said that Josh Okogie was faceless and fucking useless, and now he's come out and he's fucking awesome. And now you're hanging shit on fucking Landry Shamet, who is actually playing good basketball for the Suns.
I was going to say, maybe this is a good thing. Now Shamet's going to come back and go off. Hammo hates the people right before they get good.
Do you know what? I love the Phoenix Suns.
I'm a scary judge of talent.
I really want the Suns to trade for Ben Simmons just so that it pisses Hammo off.
Yeah.
You really want Devin Booker to never come back? Trade for Ben Simmons. I mean,
why? Kyle Kuzma.
I don't know. Well, they can both commiserate now about their
Simmons
relationship.
And Kuzma and Booker together. And...
Kuzma shagged.
I'm pretty sure the Memphis Grizzlies podcast reached out to me earlier today. Might give them a call.
We can get Chris Humphreys. We can get anyone that's dated a Kardashian member.
Go and join the fucking Memphis
Bush
pod. What you can do?
Lamar
you can do is
Odom
sit
out of
there.
retirement.
You can all
Tristan
sit
Thompson.
there. You can all sit there on your fucking Memphis Grizzlies podcast and talk about how handsome Dylan Brooks is. Paul stole mine. I was going to go with Dylan Brooks, but now I'm changing
the first 3 episodes. Man.
My flog of the week is fucking John Voida because he won't send Dave King is my son's daddy t-shirts to Matt and fucking Justin Ishbia. He's buy them on Redbubble, you cunts.
I did, you cunt.
John, I tried to buy a t-shirt on Redbubble that said Dave King is my son's daddy from here in Australia. It would have cost me $140. I mean, shit. Even the Suns singlets don't cost me that.
This custom
one,
at
my house, you know.
He makes them at Lissy's house.
This custom one, I don't think was that much.
Voida, we've seen the ad that you put up with the betting thing, and you're all shooting money out of guns and stuff like that. That we noticed.
That's that Redbubble money right there.
We noticed that you did not have the gun with the money shooting out of it pre these t-shirts, and now you guys are running around with that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Turn it off.
Thanks for that, Lloyd.
I was gonna say, it's getting hot down there in Brisbane.
Wind tunnel going again. Gents, thank you so much for joining. In particular, Paul, thank you for joining us. It's been amazing to have you on and awake, because basically all we know of you is that you sleep the whole time.
Well, we're still an hour away from recording if we were to do our podcast. So, you know.
Tell us more about that, because Justin, Dan, all they say is that you sleep and they can never get you on.
Well, I am a morning person, so that doesn't help. They're insane night owls. So they're more than happy to like wake up at 10 and then they're up till like 3 a.m. And yeah, I'm up at 5 and I'm old and creaky and I break. And but once I sit down on that couch, it's very, very comfortable and I just lose all steam.
Meanwhile, Jake was up at midnight with us the other day. Beautiful.
So we're gonna throw.
You can tell I don't have any kids or anyone that lives with me.
We're gonna throw one thing out there, Paul. I want one story because they all tell us stories about you on our podcast. Ooh. One story about Dan and Justin. The floor's yours. Let's go.
Even the kid wants to hear this story.
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot here. I don't have that many about Dan, unfortunately, that probably haven't already been told. I mean, that's true. That's true, John. That's true. There's not a lock on the door. There is no door. There's no door. Yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Careful.
Paul, is it true that Dan Duarte hates Dave King and that Dave King is not his daddy?
Not my son's daddy.
I would say Dan Duarte is the Judd Nelson character in Breakfast Club to Dave's King, his dad.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It couldn't get worse.
We'll go on to hell.
Anyway, where can we find you, Paul? Glad to have you on. You've been on now. You've now been on the Aussie Suns Fans podcast more.
Oh no, I'm afraid of what his new t-shirt design is. Oh no.
I can see a t-shirt being sublimated right now. John putting a t-shirt together with Judd Nelson like this, with Dan Duarte's face on it.
Holding Dave King's head.
Where can we find
buying my pack of cigarettes? Yeah.
Where can we find you? Thank you.
I'm at Dervish of Whirl on Twitter. And you can follow the Fanning the Flames podcast at Fanning the Flames NBA. You're welcome, Justin. Yeah, that's where you can find me because we don't do video and shit. Because we don't know when we're actually going to start recording. Nobody's still awake.
It was great. Great to have you on, mate. We have wanted to do this for a while. To be honest, I have destroyed my closing line now, though, on the podcast. So I've now got to find another sign off. Jake. Where do we find you?
Yeah, at Fallen Founder and available wherever Phoenix Suns podcasters are needed.
Hammo.
Oh, that's gold, man. That's gold. I'm so glad I made it back in time. Thanks for hanging out and letting me come in late. But really good to have you on, Paul. It's we're really gonna have to find someone else to pick on now. I don't know what we're gonna do. But
I'll start picking on Boyd still. It's the way it goes.
Oh, he's already upset. He left, mate. Quit.
No, he's back there having another kid.
Damn it! Beat him to it. We got twice in 1 week, Joe. We got the same sense of humour.
I'd say,
yeah.
Yes, Boyd has gone. So Hammo, Boyd has gone. If you want to follow him, follow Boods83 or Boods83, whatever it is.
Depends on what part of the country you're from.
Nate couldn't join us today at Nicky's Falcon. Follow me at Guesswork Gav. I don't post anything to do with the Suns on there, so it's probably going to be boring. But I post everything to do with the Suns at Aussie Suns Fans. Follow us on Twitter. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of shit on here. we really need all of you to subscribe on YouTube so that we can put up one of those little things with the money. Because I pay way too much to do this and I need some cash. So subscribe so that I can get some coin.
And we can support Boyd's children.
And we could support Boyd, send him some money because that motherfucker must be broke as hell.
Back and forth to Bangkok or wherever he's at.
Is Boyd like uber Catholic? Is he like the equivalent of
Irish Catholic
Irish people?
Well, he does run around and well, actually, off the back of my plea for people to subscribe, sell some shirts, dummy. I'm just about to send you a DM, Voider. What I want to try and do is you can send me the layout for the Dave King shirts. I will sell them for you here in Australia, and I'll send you 10% of the profits. Because
Justin can negotiate that deal. Justin gets points on the back end.
Well, he is our international lawyer now, so we can get Justin to.
Until the Aussie Suns fans only fans account starts taking off, we need to start looking like elsewhere for money. I mean, pictures of my feet aren't really doing much for people. But
well, you're not on the right websites. You're not on the right websites. And are you getting the pedicures? Are you doing the nail polish? You know, it's all about.
Paul knows a lot about this, apparently.
What's pedicure? Hang on, it's a whole new world. Gav, leave us to be. You leave.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. The guys in the chat loved it. Thank you very much for engaging. And we will catch you hopefully next week. But before we do... Matthew Lissy, apparently your toes look like Dave King's face. Thank you very much for joining us, Paul. We promise we will have you. Oh shit, he's already here.
Wait, what?
I have no sign off. If you're gonna do it, if you
can just say we'll have you back.
If you're gonna do it,
maybe.
If you're gonna do it Aussie style. Thank you, guys.
As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but